with me is Orbit, who I've put a picture of. So now you get a rough idea of how Orbit looks. How you
Yep.
doing?
Suited up for the occasion, even though you can't see me.
Yeah.
Or at least we'll just say I have, I'm actually really excited for this match. These two teams are definitely two of the top teams in the CEVO season, especially because if you look at the standings right now, the number one rank team is top five. Not too much of a big surprise there, but that team actually has two losses to their names. And guess which two teams are the teams that actually beat them in the season?
I would guess
It is
Faded and Union Gaming.
exactly both of them 2-1 top five, who is considered one of the favorites going into this season. So definitely going to be a big match this week.
They're definitely two quality teams. The first time and the only time I actually got to cast Union Gaming, it was pretty much all the Citadel show. So we'll see what he can do here tonight versus Faded. But quickly, I've got to remember what Theory said on what side he wanted. He said side. So Union Gaming gets the pick here tonight. I see you speaking Spanish. For those of you that don't
Yeah.
know, Orbit can speak Spanish. And Union Gaming is Peruvian, Team Peru.
Yeah, I've definitely seen. I remember one of the matches that they played, Union Gaming. I believe it was against Team Magikarp. Yeah, that was definitely a Citadel show.
It was Night Stalker 2 times in a row and ended the games literally in 8 minutes apiece. Alright, here we go. Game will be starting soon. I always forget. There's so many things to do on the pre-streaming checklist. I always forget something, and this time it was communicating with the teams on what pick they wanted. It's a tough life over here, managing music.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm really not sure what to expect in this game. I feel like both teams are really evenly matched, actually, as well. So this is going to be a really good best of three.
Yeah,
I hope it
indeed.
goes to 3 games as well.
So do I. I am really hoping to see all 3 games in this series. And just to bring it up here while we're on the beautiful CEVO, I guess, in-between game page, as you can see in the news, we've got 2 tournaments coming up for Battlefield 4 as well as Call of Duty Ghosts. One of those games is better than the other, but it will be $500, winner-take-all tournament style. Going into that, so you can sign up over at CEVO.com. You can find all the information. But we get into the game now. We're almost on the Picks and Ban screen, and it looks like Faded's bringing a fairly all-star lineup here tonight, putting in D-Chow and Rhyme.
Yeah, definitely, well-known players, and even Javano, Jay Banyo,
Jay Banyo, yeah.
the Oswee.
Poor Gods.
But yeah.
Oh well, at least Gods got to cast MLG Columbus, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy event actually.
It was.
They should be really happy with how it turned out in the end. I think it was a really well-run event, and it was a pleasure to watch for sure.
Yeah, I watched some of the interviews with Adam Apicella as the head of MLG about sort of the format that they chose. I actually like the best of 3 finals more than a best of 5 because I don't know, it was so much on the line, and with everything already being so jam-packed, I thought it really worked out well.
I think so too, and it's like, in this case it was it went to 3 games as well.
Yeah,
and the
which
games
made it,
were
I guess, seem better.
short games, so that kind of hyped everything up as well. Looks like we're gonna have to restart the lobby real quick.
No.
Hopefully everything's okay.
Yeah, oh well, things happen here. And actually, we talked about the records of these 2 teams earlier. Union Gaming, they've only lost once. They took 2 forfeit losses, unfortunately, earlier in the season. I don't know, I had it up earlier, let's see if I can find it again. Union Gaming, the team they did lose to was Team Quetzal, actually, who we've cast a few times here on Play CEVO. 1 is where we are now, but they took a forfeit loss to Swagasaurus Rex, which is a game that they definitely would have been favored in, as well as losing a forfeit loss against Pandemic, which may be a closer game, but maybe still favored versus Pandemic as well. So they could have potentially been 9-1 going into tonight's game,
and then beating the top team as well. That puts them in a really good position. I think both of these teams are in a very comfortable position going into the playoffs in CEVO, and it's still 4, maybe 6 games away, I think, before playoffs start. So there's still a lot of time there, but things are looking good for both of them for sure.
Yeah, and then the two losses, they're two actual losses that Faded has. They did get upset against Team Chibusa there in week 1, 2. Well, upset in terms of how Faded looked at it, but I think Team Chibusa, they definitely put in hard work, and they've been a lot stronger lately than they have in the past, so they're looking pretty good. They took their other loss against Zuni 2.0, so it was back-to-back losses and then a 7-game win streak after that into tonight's game, which loaded instantly. Wow.
Yeah. They'll definitely want to continue that win streak on over in this game up against Team Union Gaming Peru. And looks like Union Gaming is going to have the first ban. This patch, we've kind of talked about the top bans right now, but I feel like once again they're starting to shift a lot more. I think a lot of teams have put a lot less of a lean on the Death Prophet ban at all. Remaining. And even Lich and Venomancer have been seeing a lot of play, which I would consider some pretty good picks as well. I think teams are okay now with giving away a Lich as long as they get some decent push. And I mean, if you look at MLG, that Lich was not banned that often.
Yeah, and the few times it was picked up by, at least Na'Vi I know ran it a couple times, and their Lich win rate is actually horrible. And speaking of Lich, there he goes, getting banned out there. And I think it's a hero that you pick up and it can be great, but if the other team decides to push against it or basically run at you early game, Lich is not going to help at all. So there's definitely ways to get around it, and as we talked about, Death Prophet as well as Pugna weren't that prominent at MLG Columbus, or the C-Bus as people like to type it. We see Pugna getting banned out here. Pugna picked up more so than Death Prophet, who I saw Ryu Boru's play a couple times, but other than that, I can't think of any other team picking it.
I think I like Pugna as a ban because it's a hero that really pushes a specific style in order to deal with it, just because of how early it's able to 5-man and take towers so easily as well. And I mean, almost all the time when you see it being picked, it's being picked in a very heavy farming role, whether it's a safe lane or maybe an aggressive tri lane or something. Not as common in the mid because it is kind of you can deal with it by ganking it quite a bit, as it does have a relatively low health pool. But the other ban, of course, Union Gaming is going to ban out the Venomancer, and a really safe ban. I think that hero is amazingly strong right now in this patch.
And it looks terrifying, so even more reason to ban it out since that recent, the November 21st patch, which, well, I was really upset at the time, but I've gotten over the Wind Ranger changes. I will probably still refer to the lovely lady as Windrunner, but we'll see what happens. And one of the strongest, probably the strongest pick in the offlane right now, Clockwork, gets banned out there second by Faded.
Yep, and I think that's definitely okay. I'm trying to think of what heroes are pretty big that are left in the pool, and the big one that kind of surprise me if it's not picked up right now would be the Visage. I think that should be the first pick. Yep, there we go.
Definitely a good hero. Really I saw some people slacking on their familiar micro at MLG Columbus, and by some people, I mean the biggest names in the business.
Owie?
Yes. You noticed it as well.
Yeah, I was kind of, I think, I'm not going to say anything I'm going to regret later, but everyone on Speed played pretty well in that tournament. And
they did indeed.
See them come out with the win. Abaddon Weaver, though, going to be picked up. And this kind of tells me that they want to run dual lanes. I think it would be pretty good for them. Not only that, but it's really hard to punish a dual safe lane of Weaver Abaddon if you have a Visage aggro try, because the shield as well as the heal from Abaddon really makes Weaver almost impossible to kill. However, with that Weaver pick, I wouldn't be surprised if Rubik was going to be the next pick up by Union Gaming. Would do pretty well there, can run it in the aggressive tri lane as well pretty easily because it is an instant disable to deal with any hero that's just like a split second out of position. And of course, stealing Shikuchi is always great.
I was about to say, it's so good against Weaver because you can steal the spell, and like you mentioned, the instant stun to pick up Weaver before he can fade away is going to be great. And to touch on Abaddon, it is the only hero that Jabano plays, so it's not surprising that they've picked him up here first. Despite, I guess, some slight nerfs going into 6.79, I think it's still a quality hero, and a hero you definitely want to have if you're playing speed gaming with Sing Sing on the bottom.
Yeah, basically. He hit so many arrows.
He did hit quite a few arrows. Hit arrow, win games, or whatever Sing Sing says. Something along those lines.
Pretty much. Shoot arrow, hit arrow.
Yeah, that's how it works out.
Yeah, we'll see what Union Gaming decide to do here. Something else that they could do, another big option that's available to them, and a hero that we've seen a lot in the past MLG tournament is the OD. If they pick up the OD now, because it goes straight into the next ban phase, they'll be able to deal with a lot of the kind of annoying picks that kind of counter it, like Razor, like Viper, as well as Kunkka, I guess.
All right, well, there's the Timbersaw being picked up second. It doesn't really give a lot of lockdown to do anything against Weaver, but if Weaver does get locked down at all, Timbersaw has that burst damage to get right through it. Can kill Abaddon maybe a couple times when Abaddon's level 4 or 5, try to delay that 6, but when Borrowed Time comes out, Timbersaw not necessarily the best hero to put against Abaddon as the bans get underway. Crystal Maiden as well as Storm Spirit going to be dropped out of play.
Yeah, the thing I really like about the Timbersaw pick, though, is the fact that it's a really good way of dealing with a potential dual lane strategy. Just because Timbersaw, if they somehow get the Timbersaw matchup up against an Abaddon Weaver, it's really good for the Timbersaw. Abaddon's going to do basically nothing to him in terms of harassment. It's basically a 1v1 lane.
And Weaver does, Timbersaw does well in that matchup, too.
Exactly. I think it would be really good, just like even leaving him in the offlane if they expect a dual safe. It really depends on how Faded is going to play this, though. They could just as easily run that comp like mid, top, bottom, anywhere they really want. Weaver Abaddon is a really kind of universal dual lane, no matter what lane it's in. But anyways, looks like some mid hero is going to be banned out for Faded. Kind of scared about the Viper. Not necessarily scared, I guess, as they just don't want to deal with it at all. And that's safe to say for a lot of teams. A lot of people really don't like that hero, myself included. Just playing against that hero because of corrosive skin being so
or even playing it. I mean, it's fairly one-dimensional. You literally just right-click. So yeah. I don't know. It's definitely not a mid-player's hero to be running the mid lane there.
Yeah.
Reserve time.
And yeah, the CM, as you had mentioned before, being banned, and that's a pretty interesting ban considering it would have worked really well with their team, picking up the CM Visage as well as having the aura for the Timbersaw, and then of course the bounty going to be banned as well.
Sorry, I am typing to the stream.
Yep, no worries. It is Faded's pick right now. I'd be really surprised if they picked a mid. Most likely going to be their other support right now. Could just as easily be an offlaner. So, but most teams when drafting right now try to leave their mid for last or later on, just so that they're able to try to counter if possible.
Yeah, well, also a good support left right now. Some of those int carries that are very popular, or the int semi carries like the Death Prophet, like OD, are left in the pool, but so is Nyx Assassin, who I think could have been another good support. It is a stun for Timbersaw, although Impale, it's a little harder to land these days. But Faded, they pick up the Doom third, and something I wanted to touch on right when you mentioned OD was, again, back to MLG Columbus, because it's something we can talk about, because I haven't cast since last Thursday. I've only watched MLG Columbus. Arteezy has been playing OD nonstop in NEL, and I thought it was just Arteezy being Arteezy, but he did such an amazing job on that hero at MLG.
10 seconds remaining.
Especially with the sheep sticks and the pronged backstab attacks. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure. Really impressive play there, for sure. And, you know, it's a tournament where you have 9 of pretty much the best teams competing against each other, and so you have heroes players mid like Arteezy, like Mushi. You're gonna see like a lot of really highly skilled mechanics. Like we saw Mushi on the OD in the finals. They played it against a Timbersaw mid, Arteezy's Timbersaw. Mushi had something like 30 plus denies at like 10 minutes or something ridiculous like that. He's someone who really likes control on that hero, but it doesn't seem like we're going to see an OD yet, at least. There is still an opportunity to pick him. Most likely not going to be by Faded, because if they pick him right now, it's really easy for Union Gaming to pick up a Razor and counter to that. But Union Gaming still has the option, because they are the last pick before the next ban stage, to pick up that OD and then ban a Razor. The Doom pick was really
5 seconds
greedy, I guess. Not necessarily greedy, but depends how they run it. For now, with that Mirana pick, it kind of looks like it's a jungle Doom and then an offlane Mirana or something.
That's what I would expect. And then Doom is jungling. He can get level 6. And then any mid-game engagements they find themselves into, Doom will be able to cast Doom on Timbersaw and really mitigate that threat of Timbersaw's high burst damage in those early fights where Timbersaw can snowball out of control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just, you know, the ultimate hero counter. What counters this hero? Doom.
Yeah, Doom is on every single list.
Yep. But
even his own.
I like Faded's current lineup right now. It's it's kind of like MLG
time.
focused. You see a lot of these picks being picked at MLG, the Mirana, the Doom, to really good effect by certain teams. And
10
so they're kind
seconds
of,
remaining.
you know, picking. Whoa, that's a really
I
weird
like
pick.
it.
Radiant team.
I think I love that hero personally. It's really fun to watch play.
Hopefully they go F-Blade Dagon 5. Perma-invis.
Yes. The invis kill. No one
Guerrilla
can ever see
warfare,
coming.
just
Yeah.
sniping you from the
Yeah.
side, and then you don't even see him.
But yeah, some pretty unconventional heroes
10
definitely
seconds
being picked in these
remaining.
drafts. But something I like about Faded's lineup is that you still don't know, like, you still
5
have no
seconds
idea how they're
remaining.
going to be laning this. They could easily run the Doom mid. It's not that uncommon. They could run an offlane
Reserve
dual lane in the
time.
Weaver Abaddon and then run Mirana safe with something. There's just like so many
Fire
opportunities
team
for them to
ban.
switch up how they lane based on the intel that they get from Union Gaming. And with the current intel of Union Gaming having Visage, Shadow Shaman, as well as Ricky in what's probably going to be a tri lane, I feel like it's going to be a safe try
10
because
seconds
it's really hard to
remaining.
run Ricky in an off try, even though you do have a really offensive hero like
5
Visage,
seconds
You know what
unless
remaining.
that Shadow Shaman's mid.
You know what else is hard? Running a Ricky, a Bounty Hunter, and a Nyx Assassin versus a
Reserve
top-tier
time.
team in the world. Shout out to
5 seconds
EG,
remaining.
unfortunately, who started
remember
off
that.
well with that matchup, but it didn't work out, as, you know, you buy a gem or
Radiant
dust
team
and you're pretty
pick.
much done.
Yep. That was against DK, right?
I don't remember. I was very, very happy to see those heroes, and then very, very sad to see
Yeah.
EG lose.
Yeah, I remember Fear got a lot. He was all over the place. I remember in like the first 15 minutes of that game, he was just like trying to find pickoffs, and I'm pretty sure it was against DK.
I kind of like playing Ricky that way, which makes me
10
think
seconds
Citadel might
remaining.
be... I think he's their mid player, but we like to see him just run at things and kill
5
stuff. So maybe he
seconds
plays a
remaining.
Ricky, farms up a quick Yasha or Diffusal, and then just gets on the map. But we'll see what he wants to do. The Queen of Pain and the OD
Reserve
were banned
time.
out there.
Yep, I really like the OD ban for sure because it's definitely just one of those heroes that you pick at the very end and you're just like, well, you don't have a counter, deal with this. But the Quap ban is very interesting to me. They have a hero that does really well against Quap in the Ricky, so and even the Shadow Shaman if he gets off a Hex really early because it is an instant disable. So it's a pretty weird ban, I guess. Maybe just a targeted ban towards someone who plays Quap very well. I know Rhyme plays a pretty good Quap. So what else have we seen Rhyme play? If they're waiting on their
Invoker.
mid pick, exactly. I was gonna say Invoker wouldn't
10
be that
seconds
uncommon of a
remaining.
pick right now for Faded, or maybe a Puck if they want to be a little bit more
5
a bit
seconds
safer, I
remaining.
guess.
Yeah, maybe some more... Oh, nope,
It's
there
the
it is.
Invoker.
I was going to say, maybe some more lockdown or silence for this Timbersaw, but Rhyme, maybe he'll go Quas Wex. I don't see any big reason to go for an Exort build here. I mean, there's no clockwork to line it up. Their only guaranteed stun right now is Mirana, and then Invoker maybe picking up Cold Snap, Ice Wall, Tornado, something like that as well.
I think TA. Yeah, oh man, I didn't want to interrupt you, but
Oh,
I'm like,
you
they're
got
gonna
it.
pick TA. They're like, I think that is probably the better pick for them. The only thing that's weird about it is Doom does pretty well against TA because, I mean, if your refraction's down, you're just dead pretty much.
Well, he's
So
kind of
really
forced to
squishy
use it
hero.
on Timbersaw or TA, and either one of those can still dominate early fight in Snowball, so I don't know. Doom will have to choose, at least.
Yep. Yeah. So just waiting on everyone to pick their hero. Once again, guys, this is Union Gaming up against Faded. It's a best of 3 matchup. This is game 1, and yeah, I see people asking for la página del torneo, CEVO.com.
Oh, just brag about it that you speak Spanish.
Yeah. Hey man, we gotta cater to the Spanish viewers as well.
You can
But
do
yeah.
your play-by-play in Spanish, and we'll just bounce back English to Spanish and just confuse everybody.
It'd be pretty interesting.
It would. Shout out to all my fans.
So yeah, I see some questions in the chat. Assuming drops are enabled, I believe yes, they are enabled on this channel. This is the official CEVO channel for Dota. Play CEVO 1. But yeah,
Let me check. I haven't cast anywhere because Columbus came about, so I'm pretty sure everything's still linked. And let's see here. Yep, we're connected, so drops are enabled as long as you've got that CEVO ticket, which, I mean, we're at week 6 of 8. It's still worth it, honestly, because the playoffs are going to be pretty awesome here. I mean, 2 of these teams definitely going to be showing up in the playoffs, so this is the level of play to expect there.
mhm.
And it's a pause, so you know this is going to be an official Dota match right now.
Exactly. Like it's not a real Dota match unless you have the pause coming out. And yeah, just waiting on everyone to be ready, I guess. I'd like to see. I feel like on the side of Union Gaming, there isn't that much that deals well against the Weaver if he can get a fast Lincolns. Maybe the smokescreen from Ricky can do a lot, and I guess TA if she gets off to a good start as well. So it's not horrible. The question is, so as it stands right now, TA versus Invoker in the mid lane is a pretty favored matchup for the TA. Personally, yeah, as a TA player, when I played mid, I love that matchup. I can really dominate in CS with the extra damage that you get from refraction. But the thing about this is that they don't really have any counter gank or gank potential mid with the current heroes that Faded has. Like the support Abaddon's going to stay in lane. He's not going to roam around the map. He's going to stay with the Weaver. So really you're looking at either the Doom or the Mirana to put additional pressure to help the Invoker in the mid lane. It could be Mirana.
Well, it's Corey playing the Mirana, though, so I would expect him to be farming up a Storm.
So probably just going to have the Doom do something like jungle and then try to get a fast 6, and as soon as he hits 6, rotate mid. But yeah, some pretty interesting lanes so far coming the way of the Radiant, actually.
Yeah, well, let's quickly introduce the teams. I'll start on the Dire with Union Gaming here, the team from Peru. It's going to be Ben Jazz here running that. Well, actually, maybe they're just going S5 here to scout out the lane. On the Ricky, backing him up is going to be Hakutron, as well on the Rasta. It's going to be PMJPS. On the Visage, Citadel in the mid lane on the TA, so we'll see if this could indeed be the Citadel show tonight. He's got a favorable matchup more than likely, and last but not least here, for the Peruvians Union Gaming, it's going to be the Timbersaw, handled by Soul.
Yep. On the Radiant side, Corey, he's in actually in a really weird situation. Is he going to get...
Well, everything goes out Grave Chill as well as the Smoke Cloud, but the Silence runs out, and then he will just leap away, so holds that skill, picks up the leap first, and that is why you don't skill up until you need to in the early game.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyways, continuing on the introductions, we have Theory over on the Weaver. He's going to be the off-lane player. Really close to him as well as Jay Banyo. I'm just going to call him that because it's...
I don't know. I don't know if I can do
sweet
it.
Nick.
You know why he's doing it, right?
No?
Oh, during all the MLG Fall Invitation qualifiers for Full Sail, Gods kept calling Jabanyo... Darn it, he kept calling Jabano Jabanyo, even though that is not how you pronounce it or why you would pronounce it that way. I don't know.
Oh, gods.
That's why he kept saying he was an Australian in the lobby earlier.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, he's going to be playing the Abaddon. It's going to be an off-lane dual lane. Over in the mid lane, Rhyme going to be playing one of his signature heroes, the Invoker. And finally, D-Chow on his Jungle Doom. Surprisingly not starting a Stout Shield, so we'll see how it does. But so far, so good. He definitely got a really good creep and a really good starting spawn in the Troll Camp, which is going to get him a fast level 2.
Do we expect Doom to be going for that Frost Ogre Mage to get that ice armor? That was blowing my mind, by the way, in that those finals. What was that? Plus 17 armor from that onto everybody with the attacks, though? That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Which, that was the game they lost, actually. What was that, like 85 minutes or something? A little too long.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, there was a lot of Dota to be had over the last couple days. But in the top lane, we mentioned this dual lane. Actually, Theory going to be shackled up, but there goes the Aphotic Shield out like that. And that's going to go ahead and get him out of the shackles. Benjaz threw up a Silence Cloud, but it's maybe Benjaz who wants to hunt this Abaddon later in the game and just put the Silence Cloud up over Abaddon while the team engages elsewhere. Either the Abaddon or the Doom. I mean, if he silences up one of those two in a big engagement, they're going to be pretty in a bad situation. But anyways, Theory, they really want to kill this Weaver.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to. And, you know, they're getting something out of this lane. That's been a lot of kind of shackles and hexes being spammed there by the Shadow Shaman, but nothing in the end comes out of it. Just because of how strong Aphotic Shield is. He tried to hex, Aphotic Shield, no problem. Just a really strong hero, and this laning, at least in the top lane, seems to be going really well for Faded so far. We'll see how the other lanes do, because, I mean, Mirana up against Soul's Timbersaw, a pretty interesting matchup, I gotta say. I feel like Timbersaw does pretty well there, though.
I would assume so. I mean, the low base damage from Mirana, and then you've got likely 2 points here in reactive armor early on. Soul's not going to be too upset about getting right-clicked when he goes for CS. That being said, if Corey manages to land an arrow and get a Starfall double hit, I mean, Soul could potentially go down, but I feel like that's going to be not a likely scenario. And then up top to talk about that Shadow Shaman, he used, what was it? I think he used a Clarity because he cast, what was it? Shackle, Sheep, and then another Shackle. So that's what, 330 mana used out there to, I guess what, Abaddon threw 2 Athonic Shields out, and Theory's still okay, and he's, well, not really farming, but he's getting levels up here, and they've got 2 other, actually 3 other core heroes, the Doom, the Mirana, as well as the Invoker there in the mid lane, who is going Quas for the moment.
Yep. I mean, he doesn't want to decide yet, I guess, which is absolutely okay. I think your stream's lagging a bit, by the way. At least from what I've seen, there's some like weird lag. Hopefully, it's fixed itself though.
Yeah, it's probably just my internet being terrible.
Okay, hopefully.
So hopefully it'll stabilize as the night progresses.
But gonna take a little bit of a look here at the smoke gang coming in from the supports. This has got to be called though. I mean, Theory's going over to the pole camp, sees that it's already like nothing's happening, and they've got a there comes the ping. So good ping there by Abaddon over to the mid lane. He knows something's up now, and they're actually gonna rotate the courier as well. So this is some really good play by Faded. There's really 2 options that the supports could have taken. One being go for the kill there in the mid lane through the path which they were going to take, and the other one would be wrap around, maybe try to catch the courier, and maybe if TA were to push the lane, try to dive the Invoker under the tower, which is never honestly that good. But Rhyme actually opts to go Quas Wex, which will really help him in the end because he does have that Ghost Walk in case anything gets a little scary. There are sentries over on Hakutron though, so if he's quick on his fingers, they'll be able to do something about that.
I think it's a better build for the game overall.
This is crazy.
And yeah, they're diving behind the tower. Look at this Visage taking so many hits from the tower. Rhyme throws out the Tornado that he has. A Phonic Shield comes in from Jabano. It's going to be D-Chow that drops the first blood with the level death as they continue to chase Jabano. Sheeped up. Hakutron trying to run away. Citadel still going on to Rhyme. Rhyme though with the Quas. Now the cold snap. Citadel to drop. They pick up 2 there in Union Gaming. They're definitely an aggressive team, and it might... Well, the dive might not be over yet. They've turned it around completely with 2 early kills with the first blood, and there it is, another level death. It's somehow not a double kill for D-Chow, but he gets the first blood, gets 1 more kill after that, and suddenly 1,000 gold. If he wants to get the Midas, he's 850 gold off at only 4 minutes, just jungling on Doom.
Yeah, he's got to be happy with that. He's 2-0-1 now on that Doom, being involved in all the kills there that happened in the mid lane, and just being in the right place at the right time. It's perfect for him. Is he gonna go? Wow, he's gonna go Arcane Boots actually, picking up the the energy booster. Sorry, really early on.
Yeah, probably just gonna go Arcane Mech here for this team.
Yeah, this is really This basically screams kind of aura type build. So going Mech, going Vlad's, going AC, stuff like that. That really helps kind of a utility Doom, I guess.
Yeah, that's the Doom I like to see. I think it's the best that you can get away with in terms of not being extremely greedy. If you run Doom in the jungle, then you just try to get up some damage items. I don't know. That's so greedy, and I actually hate seeing it, if I'm being completely honest. Utility Doom, definitely a lot better. And then there's Corey here on the bot lane on this Morana. 21-7 are the last hits for him. 14-8 here on Soul's Timbersaw. And Corey, I've been looking down here a couple times. He's been very, very aggressive with the harass, spamming out the Starstorms as well. And it looks like he is heading for maybe Treads, but Gloves of Haste. Maybe wants to go Midas. Seems to be quite popular. And Corey is definitely somebody who loves the Midas.
Yeah, looking at Theory actually, Theory has 12 CS right now. Jabano just sitting right behind him as usual. The rotation, of course, we had seen before, not working out too well, and they're just gonna make
mid lane actually, lots of action. Didn't think it was gonna go that badly for Citadel. He gets very, very low. Citadel was trying to run up there, and I don't know what was going on, but he missed like 3 attacks in a row, and it didn't look like Rhyme was uphill, or maybe I'm losing my mind because I haven't cast in 3 days, but it was kind of weird. Rhyme turns it around and almost takes out Citadel there on the TA.
And that would have been massive if he'd gotten that pick off. But Citadel gonna get the next rune. Of course, it's gonna be Invisor on top. Is he gonna try to do anything with this? He pops it actually right away, of course. He's probably gonna Bottle Crow on top of this. That's just pop your refraction, just because you have, just so that you can kind of make full effect of a bottle charge, having, of course,
well, bot lane, we've got Soul in trouble, takes an arrow to the face. Can they burst him down in time? He Timber Chains away, but it's not very far. D-Chow has level death. It's a 6 multiplier, and Soul is 6. Soul's got to get out of there. D-Chow didn't use it. Maybe he didn't check the level of Soul, but that would have been a kill. Another arrow comes out. That's going to hit Hakutron in the face. Corey, low on health, knows he can stand there. Maybe not. a little too... He could have got some attacks in, but I think he went closer than he had to. And then up top, we've got Theory running over people. He will take out the Visage as Doom got the Shadow Shaman, and there's Benjaz in trouble. One more run through Theory. They're both Invis, and it's very confusing time for both of them, and apparently Saguchi doesn't hurt Invis heroes?
Yes, it does not. Correct.
Did not know that,
and that was
and
a really
Benjaz
nice
turns
kill.
it around.
Yeah. Really nice play, actually. The shackle there by the Rasta was just enough to kind of secure the kill right before Timbersaw, by Timbersaw before he went down, so he was able to get level 4 out of that. A Doom going on the Timbersaw now, over on the bottom.
Oh, the arrow!
Sniped.
How did they not see that? I mean, Haku dodged it, was like, yo, buddy,
Yeah.
watch out. And then it just hit Timbersaw right in the back. Nice snipe there by Corey. Shoot arrow, hit arrow.
Yeah, that's a really good way of thinking for Marana players out there, for sure.
I think that's the
But-
correct word to use. I don't know.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it is 6-2 in favor of Faded. A pretty strong early game for them, for sure. Doom, of course, 3-0-2. He's going to be a menace going into the mid game, for sure. Already sitting at another 1,400 gold, pretty much, 8 minutes into this game. Looks like Rhyme actually going to be engaged on in the middle lane.
But
He's
there's
going to
that
use his
tornado.
as well as the EMP. And this actually might be able to help him out.
Wow, the heal from Jabano. Jabano, probably the best Abaddon in the world. I'm just going to go out ahead and say it there. He gets there in time. He's not able to save him, and he denies himself. And Citadel, one more attack. It's coming for him. He's got no mana, and he gets killed on his side of the river by a tower. Those sure do go a long way sometimes. It's 7-4. Rhyme dies. Jabano, of course, denied himself there on the Abaddon. Nice play. And the TA goes down. That's Citadel dying. It's split up there. The gold's going to the Invoker, to the Abaddon.
Yeah, I didn't actually see, but with the really nice play by the Abaddon, the rotation was absolutely perfect, like helping him with the Mist Coil as well as the Aphotic Shield. And the EMP mana that he got back was definitely enough for him to use Ghost Walk if he actually had the opportunity to. I'm not sure, I didn't see Rhyme's Invoke cooldown, but really nice play there by the Abaddon, and they get the TA kill in return for his teleport, as well as, of course, getting a deny on himself. So,
well, speaking
Jabano,
of the Invoke
really
cooldown, actually, Rhyme is playing that sort of new style that's come about where you just
Yeah.
put 1 point in the Invoke and then max up your spells to get them stronger early. So
Yeah.
there is a good chance with that longer cooldown that it was off of cooldown trying to invoke that tornado. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. As bot lane, Corey trying to fend off his tower, trying to maybe land an arrow there on either the Timbersaw or the Visage. Hits neither, needs to get away. There's that instant disable, but he can't get close enough for the Shackles and Hakutron. He wants that one back, maybe. And here come the TPs. Jabano as well as D-Chow on the Doom showing up. Gonna throw out the Grave Chill and try to run away a little quicker. Looking for the arrow, won't hit it. It does force PMJ PS. Tornado! Nicely done there from Rhyme, coming from that mid lane. Nice rotation. And here comes Benjaz. He's there. Doom goes off, though, onto Haku. He's gonna drop D-Chow getting low. The burst damage there from Timbersaw. It's enough. Ricky is gonna pick it up with the backstab damage. He's actually got 2 points in the backstab. Has maxed out the Blink Strike as he maybe continues the chase, but that's gonna take a lot of mana. Rhyme will live through this. Timbersaw pulls the chakram back. It doesn't do enough, and now he's still on the run. Corey dusted up. Dust? Why are they dusted? Expecting a Moonlight Shadows? Not even skilled yet by Marana.
The dust was for the Ricky. Was there only one dust used?
No, I think the dust was maybe used to get in, because Corey had dust, like the symbol over his head.
Oh, I'm not sure there then.
Might have been for Ghostwalker expecting, though. I'm not sure.
Yep.
Maybe
With
I'm
that
seeing
rotation,
things.
though, this gives
No,
Citadel
Ricky
a
used
really
one.
easy tower in the mid lane, so that's going to be really good for him. Both teams used Fortify actually there, but of course the mid tower going to be the first tower taken in favor of the Peruvians. So a bounce back by TA there.
Yeah, nicely done for her. I think the dust was actually for maybe Rhyme Ghostwalked, because Ricky's holding it right now, and he used one, and it's on cooldown, so it is Citadel that used the dust. But it's 10-5 here as we get over the 10-minute mark. We're at 10:45, so let's quickly check out the net worth overall. But we see, TA's farming nicely, 48, Weaver at 42, Benjaz at 40, and then 30 for the Marana as well as the Invoker. But the net worth as it stands is going to be Doom with that early first blood double kill. He's actually 4-1-2 at 4,000 net worth here. That's D-Chow. Benjaz, he's at 3.8k. Citadel, 3.7 on the TA. Then we've got Corey, 3.6. A lot of rich people in this game. 3.2 on the Invoker, 3.1 on Theory, and, well, 3.1 on Soul's Timbersaw as well. So, checking the graphs, 1.5k advantage, 2,000 XP advantage for Faded. Some conflict in the bottom lane here. Jabano is level 6. Borrow Time gets procced off there I think he procced that himself, actually, because he saw the return
Yes.
of the Timber Chain. And there you go. They're still diving for him here. Jabano pretty low. One more Whirling Death should do it, or Timber Chain, or Chakram, both off cooldown now. Invoker going to miss with the Tornado, but with the nice Cold Snap usage there to get the EMP to land. And who drops down? It's D-Chow, the highest net worth in the game. Goes down. Benjaz in trouble, though. He's been dusted up. Will go down. Throws out the Silence. Nice Soul Assumption there, looking for the Abaddon. It doesn't find him, nor does the Chakram. And now Citadel looks to dive, but there's Mirana throwing out the Moonlight Shadows. Sentry dropped here by either the support or the TA. Rhyme trying to run around. Corey going on to the Shadow Shaman. Very, very risky, I would think. He could have attacked one more time, but decided not to. The bugs also miss. Doesn't matter. Theory picks it up. Maybe that's why I backed off. Figured Weaver could clean up, and Weaver with the bug here on PMJ is gonna get him. Meanwhile, Rhyme continues to chase here. Shield explodes. One more right click should do it. Soul on the Timbersaw will go down. Now a Cold Snap onto Citadel. Gonna meld striking Rhyme, but there's the shield and everything. Oh, the side blade damage takes out the Abaddon, but it's a triple kill for Theory on the Weaver, now leading the charts on net worth.
That's some Citadel 430 play over there.
Wait, what? Oh, okay, I got you.
With the bounce attack on the Abaddon. But of course, he does go down in the end, and you know, that fight was really favored for the Radiant, and they come out with a tower as well going towards Theory. So Theory had a pretty rough lane over in the beginning, going in a 2v3 lane. But if you really look at the farm right now, because of the early rotations from the supports, he's had a lot of time to bounce back, and actually Invoker going to make...
Nice attempt, though, to TP out.
Down. Yeah, gonna take the shortcut back to the fountain.
Yeah, there you go. Efficiency at its finest.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But, you know, Weaver now topping the CS, which is really nice. And, of course, since he secured that tower, he is on top of the net worth, surpassing both the Doom as well as the Mirana. And everything's looking really good for the Radiant. They have 4 heroes way up there in terms of net worth.
Can we look at D-Chow's sword for a second? This thing is awesome. Last Judgment? That's just a badass name. Anyways, bot lane. We've got a large Dire presence. It's 4 out of 5 of Union Gaming down here in the bot lane. The Familiar's going to stun before they get picked off there. He does not have a resummon, so I think they're okay. The birds are going to be protected by the fact that the Dire are pushing down the tower. Theory stunned up instantly, and then the Shackle's not able to get out of that one. Benjas takes an arrow to the face. Theory buys back into the time lapse, so he's back in the fight with full HP. Doom goes out onto Soul on the Timbersaw. Hakutron, though, going to be the first to drop. They're trying to deny Soul, and they won't be able to, actually.
Yeah.
Benjas uses him as a meat shield, I guess, to get away, as he did take the arrow and live, but that one attack there from Theory goes the distance, takes out the Visage. Union Gaming loses 3, and, well, the birds didn't die because of the pressure they put on the tower, but Union Gaming themselves did, and actually one of the birds gets picked off and one of them lives with 6 HP, maybe able to pick up the regen rune.
That'd be pretty sweet. But instead, they're going to give it to Citadel, who's going to pick it up, sitting at 2120 gold. If he's going to pick up a Blink, he's going to have it really soon, and he's actually waiting.
Citadel, the
Saw this
Meld
happening.
Strike.
Oh,
Ninja
he actually missed a
attack,
little bit.
and he moved, yeah.
That's okay though.
Oddly
He
enough.
sees a lot of people coming. Ricky's right behind everyone, and they're actually going to engage. A really nice smoke there onto the Abaddon, who's going to have his ult be popped, as well using his heal on Corey. Citadel now popping his refraction once again and running back. But of course, Doom caught in a really weird position. He's going to try to get focused. Abaddon's heal helping him out there while he pops his Scorched Earth and runs back to safety. And at the end of the day, no one really going down. Just a kind of bunch of spells being traded.
Yeah, I mean, it's Doom leading the front lines with an illusion rune, so some attacks may have went to the illusions, and there's D-Chow here with 1200 HP. He's got, at one point, I think maybe because of a Wildkin aura or some other aura, maybe a Bass, an Aquila, yeah, he's got 11 armor. Now he's sitting at 9, but 1200 HP,
Yeah.
11 armor, and a mechanism. I mean, you can't kill that guy, but here comes Union Gaming. Very, very nice.
I
They
love this.
capitalize
I
on
love
that,
that.
and they take the Roche quickly here at just 15 and a half
Dire's
minutes.
middle tower
Yeah, they were so prepared.
I didn't even
dropping that
notice
sentry,
until
seeing
they
that there's
died.
no ward. Yep, it was really nice. And actually, TA gonna get doomed as well as arrowed. They're gonna have to try to deny him.
They don't get
They
it.
won't get it again.
They've been
0 for 2.
close, but unfortunate there. Yeah, 0 for 2 on the denies as they look to push. Faded does in the mid lane still. They've taken out the bottom tier 1 tower. Now they look to get some more map control, taking out the mid tower. Just going to post up everybody there on the back lines. All these sort of utility heroes. The Mirana with that long range stun, G-Tao with the Doom, and Jay Banyo with the shield, of course.
fortified.
J-Ban, yo.
Exactly.
But Theory being really greedy right now in his positioning. He's gonna get hexed up by the Shadow Shaman, but of course the Tornado EMP gonna try to zone everyone out. And now Ricky wants blood for sure. They're gonna try to go on the Invoker, and a really nice Shackle secures them that kill. Ricky getting low, but of course he does have the Aegis, and it's gonna get popped.
Theory can Sakuchi out of there, and he will do just that. D-Chow now, the furthest one back. He's got to be faster than his teammates if he wants to live. Or, you know, Jabano can just help out as the Abaddon. I don't think they're going to be able to get him, but at least they pop the Aegis. Maybe it's not really worth giving up that Invoker, but that's what has happened, and it's not terrible. I mean, Rhyme is what? He's 2, 3, and 7. He'd like to be maybe better than that. He's not too far up in the net worth. Does he actually have a Midas? He does, so I don't know. He can come back with that.
Yeah, would be pretty interesting for sure. But, you know, 3 Midases on the Radiant side.
Oh,
This
they
is
got
like they
this,
have
then.
advantage, and they're basically kind of expanding it.
I mean, Midas is pretty much the only item to buy in this game.
Yeah.
I actually found myself in those finals at MLG. Like, I saw Speed Gaming with like only 2 Midas, and I was like really worried that they only had 2. I was like, you guys, I couldn't believe I was even thinking it. I was like, you need more Midas, and I was serious. And I don't know, I feel like that's actually a good strategy. Like, DK is a team, or even any team that has the style of making sure they're 100% comfortable with breaking high ground. I mean, what did DK? They waited 3, maybe 5 Roches, cycles. If you're behind and you're turtling and you all have Midas, it's so dangerous for the other team to wait that long, I think, because you're still going to get a lot with those Midas.
Yeah, for sure. It's just really hard to deal with. It's really hard to punish Midases now. It's also just like, because you get them a little bit earlier because of the increased gold per second, as well as just general kind of, yeah, just like the increased gold per second helps a lot in getting it earlier, and then the timing window to be able to punish it is just that much less because you're starting to kind of come back in terms of efficiency that much more, as well as having reliable gold is really great because when you die, of course, you don't lose any. So another really important factor there, being able to get your items that much quicker, even if you are ganked and die with a Midas.
Yeah. Do you think they should maybe up the cost of the recipe a little bit more? Maybe 100 or 200 just to delay?
I think a better change would be maybe to decrease the amount of gold from 190 to 150. I think that would make it a lot nicer. Oh,
Someone agrees
my
with
roommate
you.
there talking to his girlfriend, but
He's like, no, don't nerf Midas. It's the only item I buy.
yeah.
Game is resumed. And where were we? It's 19 to 10. The gold advantage as it stands. A little under 5,000 here for Faded. 5,000 XP as well. So they're definitely in the driver's seat here for the early game. They've got a Midas on Corey's Mirana, a Midas on the Weaver, that's Theory, and a Midas, which is a pretty standard item, on Rhyme's Invoker. And then on the other side of things, we've got Soul going for a Bloodstone. Blink Phase on Citadel. What do you make of that as the TA player?
I think it's really greedy.
Same.
I think, I mean, you're going to have very little health. You have sub 1,000 HP here. All you basically have is the blink. Yeah, just like the blink potential mobility, but it's really hard to escape with it. Like if they dust you and you have a bug on you, it's impossible. Of course, you can meld to get rid of the bug if they don't have any detection on you, but I mean, you're doomed. You're gonna die without, even with a blink.
Oh, speaking
You
of
get
Doom,
bugs.
he's picked up a Midas, so 4 out of 5 for Faded. It's just Jabano now with 600 gold, maybe wanting to get that 5th Midas.
When did he pick it up? After mech?
I think he just got it because I was on the item
Yeah,
screen
that's
during
really
being
interesting.
paused, so he gets it after the mechanism there. Instead of
Yeah,
going for
Midas
very
gaming.
cheap Vlads and adding another 5 armor. Meanwhile, up top, presence of 3 for the Dire. They will force whoever was trying to TP up there for Faded to back off, cancel the TP, and they get that tier 1. Very nicely done.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
They've actually got the tower advantage. They've gotten 3 compared to Faded picking up just 2, but it's still Faded who does lead, as we did just check the golden XP graphs. And they drop the wards here for the tier 2. I think Faded, they're going to be forced to respond. Not that this tier 2 tower is all that important in terms of map control, but it doesn't matter. Here comes Rhyme throwing out the tornado, gets just the lonely roaming vagabond, the Shadow Shaman. He goes
Yeah,
down.
he just went down so fast. There's nothing he can do. Just sitting there with no mana. It's just like, well, kill me.
Well, I'm
Kill
dead.
me now. Yeah, basically. Can't even like turn around and use his ether shock there. Instead, just like waiting to die.
And they clean up, they farm the wards.
Sad fate.
Faded here does. The serpent wards that Shadow Shaman drops.
A lot of
Which he
money.
does drop 10 of now. That's 350 gold.
Yeah. Pretty big.
Oh, and okay, now we're even on towers. Theory gonna go ahead and notch it up. Takes out that top tier 1, which apparently had 30 HP.
Yep. So 20 to 10, around 20 minutes into the game, it's about a 5,000 gold advantage in favor of Faded. Not as big as I actually expected. I expected a lot bigger of a gold advantage, considering that a lot of them have Midases. But you know, definitely Union Gaming trying to stay in this and push some towers together. They're gonna try to go on the mid, but TPs, as well as an offensive ultimate from the Mirana, going to try to engage here.
Yeah, Benjas
Wow,
will TP
really
out
close.
on the Ricky, and I don't think this offensive Moonlight Shadows is really going to get anything done, although now they're being very offensive. They run past a sentry, so they've been spotted out. So yeah, amounts in nothing, but I mean, whatever. It's just a cooldown, and it's just 75 mana. It'll be back up in another 2 minutes as we've got Corey at level 12 with a rank 2 ultimate.
The interesting thing to see right now is how fast teams are going to start picking up gems. Both teams with a gem, like a gem is pretty vital there, because you have the Weaver as well as the Mirana ulti on Faded, and then of course the Ricky and TA's meld on the Dire on Union Gaming. So it'll be interesting to see when they pick them up and how fast it's going to be. But
Yeah.
push now.
Yeah, it looks to be Faded doing some pushing now. They haven't been the team to be grouping up. They've been the team reacting to these ganks, to the pressure from Union Gaming. They've been doing a great job at it. They turned around some early ganks. They turned around early team fights. And well, now, here at just 20 minutes, they lead by 10 kills. It's 20-10 in favor of Faded. And it's Union Gaming defending behind their tier 2 at the moment. And looking at Ricky, he goes Treads Drums. Do you think that's a pretty good build to get Ricky just battle ready in the early game? Actually, we might have to hold that thought, but... well, maybe not. I don't know. Tier 2 tower, it's not really even going to be contested. It goes down right there. It's going to be Rhyme that picks up that one, and now we've got Citadel in trouble. He gets doomed. He goes down. Now they just have to deal with Soul, maybe a little bit of Benjaz as well. Corey leaps through the smoke screen. D-Chow will go down. No, he gets shielded, and he pops off Scorched Earth for the regen. Corey, though, on a mega kill on the backside of things, takes out the Shadow Shaman. It will be the Visage with the Soul Assumption to bring him down, but now Soul and Benjaz, they fight. Whirling Death goes out. Another Tornado from Rhyme, as he's actually got a full Force Staff finished in his stash. The Force stash. Benjaz, though, meanwhile, dusted up, will go down. Theory going to drop to that Whirling Death from Soul, so the Timbersaw picks up one there. D-Chow now still alive. This guy, impossible to bring down. Mech is off cooldown. He can use it again here in 10 seconds, and I think that Ice Wall from Rhyme, very, very nicely placed. Not doing too much damage over time, only 3 points in Exort, but now they're chasing away Citadel as well as Soul. And it must be Citadel... did he have the Aegis or did he buy back? No, the Aegis was already popped earlier, and I don't know how that tornado didn't hit Soul, but alright.
A little bit of a lapse in courier micro there, and Citadel just in no man's land. Why did he double back there? That was really interesting, but he's actually going to try to engage here. And,
He doubled
Doom-
back because he's a man. Will they get the Doom, who is impossible to kill? There are no trees in the
my
Roche
God.
pit. And his Soul finally whacks him in the face with his left chainsaw hook. But it's going to be Invoker that picks off the Shadow Shaman once again, 25-13. So throughout this long engagement, Faded netted 5 kills. Union Gaming, they picked up 3. So definitely going in the favor of Faded. They also got a tier 2 tower in the process.
Yeah, Jabano's so goddamn good at Dota.
Dire's
My
bottom
God,
tower.
he
Yeah,
did so
at
much work in that
Abaddon.
fight. Wow, like he kept everyone alive
He got a
so
Midas.
long. He did his job perfectly. He didn't even really use his ultimate, I don't think, either in that fight. And he got 2,000 gold as a result of that at the end of the day there. And he picks up his Midas. So a full Midas gaming for Faded there. But, you know, really, really good play coming out of Jabano.
I'm going to go ahead and name this strat right now. So you get 5 Midas on your team. We're going to call it the high fives all around strat.
It's pretty good.
So I think that's good. Hopefully it sticks, and it'll be my claim to fame. Although, speaking of claims to fame, I got a shout out from the Capitalist on the Dota 2 Bravo stream, so I am famous now.
It's pretty sweet,
Capitalist happens to be watching. Thank you.
I'm reading the,
Yeah, go ahead and
Spanish
translate
chat
that
going
for
on right
me.
now.
Chrome is like, do you want me to translate your stream into Spanish? I'm like, no, that's okay. I live in Miami now, and I should probably learn it, but today's not the day.
Bienvenido a Miami.
Exactly.
Well, now Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith is... we still talk about him down here, I guess.
Really, really surprisingly quick Bloodstone, actually, considering that Timbersaw's 3-3 and 3. I would have kind of preferred a Lincoln's in this game, just to deal with a potential Doom, an outright Doom coming from him, because, you know, as well as just being able to use it on other heroes. If he sees that TA is getting out of position, just being able to transfer the Lincoln's charge now is amazing. And we actually saw Artesia and MLG pick up a really early Lincoln's for his team.
There were
in
3
one
or
of the
4
games.
in one game, counting both teams. It's definitely a great item, especially with supports going Midas now, so where they can get to items in the late game. I think here, for Jabano. I mean, picking up Lincoln's as his next item is probably a really, really good idea with that active transfer now.
Yeah, but Bloodstone, of course, not that, like, it's still the more common item choice, I guess, so not too surprised. I'm actually surprised that he picked it up this early, I guess, considering he does have 3 deaths.
Yeah, and only, what, 75, 83 CS now? When you said it, he was only at 70, so yeah. He's got a lot done in the team fights. I think he maybe took out some pretty high-value targets. I've been playing a lot of Battlefield, so we're going to go ahead and call that an HVT. Speaking of that, it's going to be Soul that gets taken out by an arrow. They throw the Doom out onto the Timbersaw as well, so he's got a Bloodstone with 8 charges soon. Well, whether he dies or gets denied, it's going to be 5. He gets denied, though, and there was a nice ward trap there by the Timbersaw. D Chao's caught in it as well. He will go down, so it's 1 for 1 there. Benjaz has a BKB finish up here. Here's his 10-second charge. See what he can get done.
Yeah.
Forge Spirits summoned out. Theory as well, doing a lot of work, reducing that armor. Jabano still alive, still fighting. Visage falls somewhere on the backside of things. It's going to be Corey that snipes out that one. Gets another bird as well. And it's actually the Dire showing up here with the Necro Book 1. That's going to be from the Visage Rhyme. Still trying to get away. 4-staff Dota. They've taken out the red one. Got to be careful. Corey kills it.
Yeah.
Takes 500 damage, but you know, it's another 100 gold. He's got about 300 there just from minions and birds. So I guess you're not complaining.
Yeah, this fight's looking actually to be in favor of the Dire right now. They're going to continue on chasing. Abaddon's going to go down, and they're going to just keep going. This is really good so far. Corey getting really low. He's going to go down as well. And this heavy mobility core presence from the Dire definitely going in their advantage right now.
Theory was almost able to take out the Timbersaw, and it looks like a Rhyme will... No, I was going to say maybe shut down the fight with that last tornado, but here comes Timbersaw onto Rhyme. Benjaz there as well. Doom is back. Hello! A random Doom appears and uses a mech charge, and he's actually going to go down again. Wow. TA, super effective. His Theory is going to drop as well, so wow. Union Gaming with a fight of the ages. They wipe the enemy team.
What a fight coming out of them. Just using the extra mobility, they have the Ricky Blink Strike, the Blink Dagger on TA, as well as Timbersaw's Timber Chain. And, you know, the second they sense a victory, they just keep chasing, and they get so many pickoffs from that. Soul on the Timbersaw, even able to live and dodge the Weaver's fatal damage coming out from the Shikuchi, as well as a potential right-click by Timber Chaining up onto the cliff there. And not only did they get a full team wipe there, but they're going to escalate, and they're going to try to get this Roshan, and it's pretty much uncontestable. So this is definitely, I mean, the potential of a comeback here in favor of Union Gaming. A really amazing fight.
Second Roche as well.
Yeah,
this
what a
game.
fight. Like,
That was really key for Soul, because he died to start off that fight. That brought him down to 7 charges on the Bloodstone. And then, I don't think he bought back, let's check actually. No, it was just the quick resummon, or the respawn there. And he went from 5 back to 10. So he was involved in every single kill on the Union Gaming rebound there. So nicely done.
Wow.
Timbersaw in fighting shape.
So basically their way into this is kill Jabano early, because they kill him first, and then this happens.
Yeah, which is an interesting strategy to take upon yourselves when you're going against an Abaddon, to kill him first because of borrowed time. They maybe wish they had the Doom or a Rubik to steal Doom, but we actually mentioned the Rubik pick. I think it still would have been good. Sure, they've used the Serpent Wards to push some towers, but in terms of the fights, maybe the last one was a pretty good ward trap, but Rubik would have been incredible this game. Every spell from Abaddon is good. Every spell from Invoker, from Doom, and then you've got Sakuchi in between to get you your mobility, but I guess we'll leave it there. There is no Rubik, and there won't be this game.
So, if you look at the Dire heroes, which hero would you think would go mech? Visage, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say Visage. Well, he's got a Necro 3. I didn't realize he had the Necro. Oh, Benjaz throws out a smoke screen, and it will be the last smoke screen he throws. Actually, scratch that. He's got the Aegis. It's popped off. He's going to throw some more. Corey able to jump away with the help of Jabano, and it's going to be Theory BKB'd up as well as Sidral. They continue to fight. D-Chow gets brought down quickly. Doom thrown out onto Benjaz through the BKB. Now they're onto Jabano. Borrow time. He's back to full HP. Corey with a stun. Maybe. I thought he landed an arrow. I heard Marana say yes. It's going to be Benjaz who lives through the Doom, and can he get away? Is Soul? He will not. Yes, he does. He gets away. And there's still fighting happening. It's going to be Benjaz who is invis and will live. He's got a BKB, drums, Yasha, treads at the moment with the magic wand. And they win another fight, so Union Gaming is on the up and up this game. They now lead in XP for the first time in this entire game, but still a 5,000 gold advantage, which is mattering less and less as the game goes later.
Benji, man, that was really close. his invis just came off as
Radiant's
Shukuchi went through him
middle
by the
tower
Weaver.
is under
So
attack.
that was almost a death by him. And he was really, really aggressive and still fighting even though he had Doom on him. And that definitely helped his team secure a minor victory in that last fight. So really nice play there by Benji, realizing that even though he's doomed, he still has a lot of potential for causing a lot of damage in that fight and continuing to fight.
Well, the crowd is pleased. I see a lot of Spanish, and I see UG, so I'm assuming they're very excited that Union Gaming is bringing the comeback this game. They still trail by 6 kills. XP looks to have finally all been accounted for, leveling off at around a 2,500 advantage. Not a huge one, so it's still anyone's game, but Union Gaming, they've got some momentum right now. They've won the last 2 big engagements, so if they can keep it up, they can get back into this game. But breaking high ground is going to be another story, and entirely versus, well, 5 Midas, and it's actually Hakutron here on the Shadow Shaman. He's picked up a Midas of his own, so we've got 6 this game. Can we get to 10? Well, they guessed wrong, trying to kill the Shadow Shaman, and it looks like another team fight may break out here, and well, another chaotic team fight in Dire territory might favor, well, the Dire. Theory brought down almost immediately. BKB's up, able to scurry away. Who's that dropping? It's the Invoker that goes down there. Jabano, Invis, Moonlight, Shadows. That's a point-blank arrow onto Hakutron. He will go down solo on a mega kill streak. Takes out Doom, takes out Invoker. That's Rhyme on one of his signature heroes being brought down here in this fight. Corey in trouble will leap away, taking a trap to the face. There's a double damage, and he's going to go ahead and TP out there. Not enough burst damage to take him down. But Cideral bottles up a double damage, and Union Gaming wins another fight.
Yeah, and something we really should mention for sure, and something that Faded's taking advantage of right now, there are very little disables on the Dire team. The only real disables are the disable from the birds from Visage, as well as Shadow Shaman, and they're picking Shadow Shaman off so fast that he's pretty much a non-factor in these fights. But yeah, they're just TPing out because they can't really run because of TA's traps, as well as just the heavy
And the
mobility that
smoke
is on the
cloud
Dire.
and the chakram. I mean, all the strong CC
Yeah.
to chase down or just disrupt a fight, and there's 3 heroes that really need to be dealt with. I mean, mainly the TA and the Timbersaw, but now we've got Benjaz attacking from behind with backstab. That's a crap ton of damage, to phrase it that way. It's a lot. I used to calculate it, but I've become lazy in my casting years, months. Basically, a couple attacks is like a quick 600 damage, even with no damage items at rank 4.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And yeah, they're getting it done. 29-24 Faded. They lead by just 5 kills, and the net worth, it's Timbersaw and Weaver fighting for pole position there.
Yeah. This is a really good item pickup here by Soul. I think this is perfect. He basically went what we thought he should have started first, and what we discussed a little bit earlier. He went in after the Bloodstone, but he does have his Lincoln Sphere, so this is going to actually add a lot more survivability on the Riki. Because right now what's happening to the Riki in fights is he's getting doomed. And yes, he's still able to attack because it's not doing that much damage to him. As well as I think you still get the extra damage, even though you are doomed from your backstab. I think that's what I've been seeing. But
I feel like you shouldn't.
you shouldn't.
Because Doom, I mean, it says it disables some passives.
Yeah.
Disables most passive abilities and removes positive buffs on cast. But there's quite a few passive abilities that go through. Like Desolate on Spectre, as well as Dispersion, I think both still do damage if you Doom Spectre. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was seeing the extra damage coming out of him. So
Yeah,
we'll
you can
just,
actually just hear it by the sound. It makes a different little
yeah.
attack.
I'll pay a closer look in the next fight if he gets doomed again. But yeah, Cideral actually. Let's talk a little bit about him. He's 4-7, so not necessarily the best score, but he is getting focused pretty heavily. He of course did pick up his blink first and had the BKB in the last fight, but he's now sitting up on another 2,200 gold, and it'll be interesting to see what he does decide to go for next. I don't think I would particularly mind the Daedalus or the Deso. It depends on how they really want to play this game, and we'll see, I guess, what he picks up first.
I
But for
really
now,
want to see what
Midas.
Haku's going to go with his Midas. He's got a Midas as well as a gem and an urn, so he's the gem holder, and he's very squishy. He's been dying pretty quickly. I mean, he gets EMP'd and he can do pretty much nothing after that. But the Roche, well, the Aegis has actually already been gone. They took it off of the Riki very, very early on, but Roche is going to be back up in either 1 or, 4 minutes?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, I'm saying, I'm stating, it'll be
Okay.
in 1 to 4 minutes, somewhere in between there, Roche will respawn. thought we went
I
over
don't
the
know
Roche
exact-
timing.
I know. I don't know. I still don't know the exact time though for Roche, like based on this clock itself.
Well, you don't know the exact time yet. And actually, something blew my
Okay.
mind. You know how it's 8 to 11 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the outer circle is the 8?
What?
The outer circle
yes.
determines the 8
Okay,
minutes.
yeah.
Every spot
Yeah.
in between two balls or whatever is 1 minute of time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so the max amount that could be on the inside is 3, because that's another 3 minutes. That gets you to 11, right?
Yeah.
At one of the games at Columbus, there were 4. Like, it was going to be a 12-minute spawn, except the last part was all red. Like, 1/4 of the circle was all red. So it must have been like an 11-minute and like 2-second Roche.
Damn.
It was really, really weird and a bug. And
I didn't think. Yeah.
thought
okay,
I would
was
point it
gonna
out.
say. Huh. Well, now I don't feel as bad for not really understanding everything.
Yeah, 'cause
But
it's
anyways.
bugged.
Yeah.
Ricky's level
Yeah,
20, by the way.
Sorry?
Ricky is level 20. He's the highest level on the map
That's
right
crazy, actually. That's really impressive, considering there were so many Midases picked up so early for the Radiant. So, just the fact that he's the highest level on the map is insane. And he's actually going to go back. They look like they wanted to put some pressure over on the bot lane with all 5 heroes down there. I'm not sure if they smoked. And if they didn't, they should have.
now. Yeah. How
Midas.
much of this game do you think being turned around is the fact that Faded wanted to go 5 Midas and they sacrificed maybe picking up a lot of other items for the early team fights?
The thing is, I feel like a lot of their heroes would have been perfectly okay going the Midas, with the exception of Abaddon, I guess. And like all 4 of their other heroes, don't surprise me that they went Midas. Invoker,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
almost core in a
yeah,
way.
it is pretty
Doom,
much
if he's
core.
jungling,
Also
not
core.
that uncommon. Weaver was interesting, but he did really well and bounced back on farm a lot when the support started rotating for the Dire, so not that surprising, I guess. And of course, Murano was in the safe lane farming. It was a 1v1 lane, but she wasn't coming out that horribly in it, and yeah.
Yeah,
the rest
Corey
is
did
history.
surprisingly well in that matchup with the harass. He out CS'd as well as out harassed that Timbersaw in the lane. Pretty well done. I mean, it is Corey after all,
Yeah.
who sadly was not at MLG. Well, he was at MLG Columbus, but not playing. It was Pretty Boy Swag that got that last seat, which I thought they did. I thought they did really well. I mean, yeah, they lost every game, but I don't think they were really going into Columbus thinking they were going to win it all, you know? I mean, they were going head-to-head in the early game, keeping it even for, 15 minutes versus, like, Na'Vi and other teams of that caliber, so I thought it was pretty impressive. It's hard to hold a lead against those caliber of teams.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't know, but...
Yeah, Theory having picked up his MKB, actually. He's going to be pretty aggressive there on the bot lane. Going to be blink striked by the Riki and actually takes quite a decent amount of damage. But going to back off to safety. Weird that Riki went Manta, actually. I think that's pretty interesting. But, yeah,
I'm
I
trying
feel
to
like
think of
there are
why.
better
I mean,
items.
you can get the bug off of you, but don't you just get the bug off by default when you fade into Invis? Speaking of fading into Invis, there's a Moonlight Shadow's going to be used up. Theory BKB's Hackatron goes down. Rhyme lives a little bit longer than he should have. Abaddon helps him out, but he gets dropped down. Wards were dropped on the other side of this, so now they're not going to be helping out the fight, but it doesn't matter. D-Chow drops down quickly,
Yeah.
and Union Gaming is just running over everybody. Giovanni going to try to TP out, and he does get away, and the drums of war are popped. They run faster. Wow, Corey. Yeah, I don't think he was getting out, but running wasn't
the BKB
option. Was he trying to
wasted
leap,
there.
maybe? No, it's on cooldown still. Yeah, BKB and a TP wasted out there.
The TP isn't as bad. I think he realized that he needed to run. But, yeah, that BKB charge was a 9-second charge.
Yeah. Not one you want to just throw away there. As Citadel and a team, it tries to backdoor the tower. They can't quite do it, and the creep wave is all the way at their own tier 2 in that bottom lane. Ricky himself, it's not a Manta. He goes for a Lincoln Sphere. I mean, that kind of makes sense with what we talked about backstab earlier. For those of you that are less familiar, just increases base. It's 1.25 times your agility, and well, Lincoln Sphere, it gives quite a bit of stats. Plus 15 to all attributes, as well as just a 10 flat damage. It's not the best damage item, but, he'll get, what, maybe 30, 40 damage out of that when he attacks from behind.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just reading certain things. But,
Working
yeah,
on your Spanish?
back into this game. Yeah, just trying to practice my Spanish a little bit. I'm definitely really rusty. But, yeah, Plate Mail picked up for D-Chow. He's probably going to go straight into the AC here. Might go Shivas, actually. Would be pretty interesting as well. The attack speed debuff would be really good for his team as well, because there are a lot of right-clickers on the Dire. And by a lot, I mean two, mainly. The Riki as well as the TA.
Yeah. Sorry, who was going for the AC there? I'm looking at Soul, and I see him with the plate mail, maybe looking to go. Excuse me, for his Shivas.
The D-Chow there.
Okay,
Yeah,
D-Chow
he picked up a
also
recipe.
is going for his Shivas, and I think Soul's working towards his quickly,
Yeah,
so it'll be, I mean, they'll be
that'll-
matched. Kind of resets the field of battle right there if they both pick up one. Still a good item to have nonetheless. Don't ever not get a Shivas because the other team has one. You'd be like, whatever. MKB, though, coming out here on Theory on the Weaver. Definitely a big first damage. His first damage item, really. He goes BKB, not a Lincoln's. And is someone backing him up with a Lincoln's? Was there one picked up yet for Faded? I don't believe so.
I don't think so, not yet. But
Nope.
there isn't that much of a need for one, I guess. The main spell that they'd want to try to get off would be the Shackle or the Hex from Shadow Shaman. But
Yeah,
I don't
which-
think
yeah.
Lincoln's is that necessary. Maybe Abaddon would go it, though, if anyone.
It's never bad, that's for sure. And I think Abaddon,
Yeah,
it would be a
exactly.
good item to go. I mean, you've got the hand of
Or that or
Midas.
Force. I think Force is even more important, though, because the Ricky Cloud. But they already have one, I guess, on Rhyme.
Yeah, I don't know. Force Gaming, it's definitely definitely a viable strat. Getting out of the chakra and the smoke cloud, getting someone out of the ward. Citadel going to take an arrow to the face here, and if they pick him off the start of the fight, Meteor drops down. Unfortunately, doesn't really roll into the path that the enemy team is coming. PMJPS on the Visage. Going to be focused here by Corey. Soul trying to run away, but no, Corey goes straight for that. Throws out the Doom. It's a double kill here for Theory, I believe, onto a killing spree now. Citadel has bought back on the TA. Visage going to get out of there. Maybe Corey looks to chase. Ice Wall by Rhyme, trying to zone out everybody, and this game has had some chaotic team fights. Looks like the Visage able to TP out. Now we've got D-Chow in trouble. He gets forced away as well as healed. And the miss uphill, okay, it doesn't matter. Soul and Ricky gonna just jump on him. They take him down even after those big plays with the Force Staff. Corey gonna get dropped down here. It's a double kill here for Benjaz Sama. I don't know if anyone is worthy of the Sama title after Eternal Envy's performance.
But yeah, that damage output coming out of Benji there, wow. I mean, Mirana basically, she had leap off cooldown and she couldn't use it because in that one small stun duration, just the right clicks from the backstab of Ricky there, just completely demolishing her. Who also picked up, yeah, I don't know if you mentioned that, he did pick up a Lincoln's, so there's a second one.
I did, and someone in the chat
yeah.
has just picked up on it. WTF, Ricky Con Lincoln?
Yeah,
That means with in Spanish.
yes it does.
Woo! Third Roshan going to Union Gaming, and this is going to be the cheese.
Yep.
The Aegis goes to TA the first
I think
time.
that's good.
And, you know, just going to leave the cheese. I feel like it would be very good for Soul to pick up, but, you know, he's holding the Gem
I
of
think
True
Ricky,
Sight.
Soul's pretty much unkillable, I think, right
Yeah,
now.
that's true, too.
And I think that's what they're gonna do. Yes. So, Cheese over on the Ricky as well as the Aegis on TA, and that's like really impressive from them. I mean, these Roshans, every single Roshan has been secured by Union Gaming, and you know how far behind they were in the beginning. And without a doubt, those early Roshans and securing whatever gold they could early helped them come back into this game. So they've done a really good job in just making sure that they get every single one. And that's something that I've definitely discussed a lot. How kind of the Roshan kind of going between 8 and 11 minutes was an indirect buff to TA because you're always able to tell when the Roshan's going to spawn by having a trap there. It's as simple as that. So
Yeah,
you'll be able to
exactly.
kind of have an advantage in terms of doing Rosh efficiently with your team the second you know it's there, and you'll know.
I mean,
pretty much-
even Visage or Beastmaster, and maybe even Venomancer a little bit to that. I mean, a bit of a knowing when that Rosh is going to be up. If you have a Boar, a Hawk, a Ward, who else did I
But
say?
you can just put one
A
trap
familiar.
there once.
Yeah, I mean,
and
the
then
trap
kind
is
of-
the best case scenario, but
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
for that
Beastmaster
3
could-
minutes, you can have your Hawk there.
Yeah, but like at the same time, you can forget about it as TA and then just like check and know instantly. But yeah, I do absolutely agree with you, and that's another reason why heroes like Venomancer are strong. Like an additional reason on top of being
God, that
ridiculous.
hero's so annoying.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Hate him. Ban him every game.
Hate him. So yeah, what I thought was a Manta instead turns out to be Yasha Lincoln's, as we had talked about before on the Ricky, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like that
I wonder if
choice.
it's gonna go Butterfly now, but like Weaver already has MKB in anticipation of a potential Butterfly coming out, so would be probably not the greatest choice. But at the same time, I mean, the extra agility for the backtrack damage is just the backstab damage. Sorry, is really good. And a Butterfly, actually, you know what they're gonna say? We don't really care about the MKB. It's still a really good item, and TA is going to pick up her Butterfly.
Yeah, I mean, there's still Corey attacking as well. But that being said, he's got a BKB, he's got a Maelstrom, and he's going for, well, could be Daedalus, but given that Butterfly pickup, it's definitely going to be an MKB, and he's only 800, actually 780 gold away from it, so not going to be much longer. Pretty much one more wave. Maybe two. But I mean, whatever. Still a great item. It's got good stats. Yeah, the evasion makes it better. It's not the best damage item, but the attack speed, the armor, the damage, and the 35% evasion. I mean, other heroes are attacking too, so I don't know. Also attack speed. I mean, it's definitely a good item.
Yeah.
Maybe more so for the Riki than the TA, though.
Yeah, definitely better for Riki. But yeah, as we said, just overall strong item. Arrow going to be eaten up by the familiars, actually. And Hakutron still has his Midas off cooldown. He's had it for a while. The smoke cloud going to be popped down just to kind of provide some extra cover while they do damage to this mid tower.
Oh, there goes the meatball. They threw off the Shiva's active as well, but Benjas BKB's up. Man's up at the tower. They take down the tier 3. There goes the TA, but he's got an Aegis, so Citadel will respawn. Benjas as well, still alive, trying to fight it up. In his cloud will go down. Corey with the Daedalus, or excuse me, just the Demon Edge. No MKB yet, but he's still able to do the damage. Theory dominating, though, on the backside of this fight, taking out the Riki, taking out the Shadow Shaman. Now going for the Familiars. Gets one, won't get the others. Rhyme looking to chase out. Moonlight Shadows has been used here by Faded as they lose their tier 3 tower, but the Racks, they still remain pretty healthy after that, and Creep pushing into top, pushing into bottom. It's going to be Union Gaming backing off.
Yeah. So successful defense there, for sure. They lose the tower, but that's pretty much it, and they kill the Riki as well, which is really important.
Yeah, he's
sitting at
pretty
4,000.
durable, though. He's got a Manta. I kind of like the Manta as the next choice there. More move speed, you can get the active, you can get the bug off of you, I guess, or I guess you can Manta out of Cold Snap if you do manage to get that off after the Lincolns popped.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's pretty good. And the stats. I was talking earlier when I think you were brushing up on your Spanish about, I mean, Lincoln Sphere for Riki, while it looks weird, it's still an item that's going to give him about 40 damage when he attacks people from behind because of the stats and the base 10 damage.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it also provides some element of confusion as well.
Doom shuts him down, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually,
I'm not sure. We'll
quick
see how
question
it goes.
about Lincolns. I've played quite a bit since 6.79, but I've never seen Lincolns picked up for some reason. Does the enemy team see who you put Lincolns on? They do, right?
Yes. Yes,
okay,
they do.
because that would be OP if you didn't.
Yeah, that'd be really weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it shows up
everyone
as that
sees the
giant
little
blue circle.
ball. Yeah. All right, got it.
You can cast it on yourself as well to give that
yeah,
same effect.
that
which
one
is kinda
extra
funny.
second of double Lincolns or whatever.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But looks like some pressure by the Dire, but of course there are only 4 there as Riki has just respawned. It is making his way down into the mid lane to put some pressure down into that lane. But 5 heroes here for the Radiant. They want to make something happen for sure.
Well, they want
and
these
they're actually going to
birds.
try to, yeah, free
get 'em.
birds.
Free Bird.
Angry
Maybe
birds.
we'll play that song next. Too long, though, for the downtime. Anyways, Benjaz, he didn't use that cheese in that engagement. He did have it if they wanted to maybe continue fighting, so he saves it for another day. I think their mission of just getting the tier 3 tower was accomplished, but it's still Faded that leads in kills, 34 to 29. They're up in gold by a little bit. Union Gaming was 11,000 XP ahead, but now they're only 6, and it's quickly going back in favor of Faded, or at least towards Faded. Towards equilibrium, so it's still anyone's game, but Union Gaming with the momentum of the past and a little bit more map control, having taken out, well, not really, but you know what I was saying, one more tower they've taken out of tier 3.
Yeah, and you know, Dota's very momentum based. Even if you're really behind, if you win that one fight, it really helps you. And then, like, I mean, Citadel and his squad has won the past, what, like 3 or 4 fights in a row?
Yeah.
Some of them have been a lot closer, but I would say still victories in favor of the Dire. And you know, they seem to kind of be the aggressor in terms of these fights. Of course, Faded definitely looking to try to deal with that by putting on some aggression themselves and taking the top tier 2, as well as all TPing back to defend the mid lane. But at the same time, I mean, this is still a pretty even game. In terms of the graphs, actually, what's really surprising to me is that it's actually swinging right back in favor of the Radiant. I mean, it was pretty even in terms of gold, but just now swinging back up into 5,000 gold in favor of Faded.
Well, probably because
really
everyone respawned and used Midas.
Yeah, and as well as Riki being down for like over a minute basically when he did die, gave them an extra farm advantage for that time. So maybe that would have helped as well because he didn't buy back. And even if he did buy back, he wouldn't have been able to farm because of the new change.
Yeah, I think they won that fight, and that did lead. I mean, they popped the Aegis, they got 2 kills.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost their tower, and then after that, like you said, more places to farm. They've got Midas. Riki was dead, so definitely swinging back up to a 5,000 gold advantage. XP looks like it's leveled off at right about 7,000 advantage for Union Gaming as they look to go down the mid lane. They're sans Aegis, but they do have the cheese still.
Yep, Mirana ulti.
Wow, very, very aggressive outside the base. Soul, if he was pushed a little bit further, would have connected with that arrow that Corey does not land. Doom with a nice Shiva's active going off onto the Reese. Soul trying to live on the backside of the fight. Level death going to be thrown out as well by Doom. Citadel comes in, looking to throw out the meld strikes. Now quickly going to back off. Benjaz still with the cheese. BKB for Citadel, they turn it. Ice Wall goes down, slowing down the useless Necro creeps right now. Theory onto a Mega Kill streak, but it's Invoker as well as Doom who die at the start, but there's 3 down for the side of Union Gaming. Jabano, borrow time just now being popped off. They're really not focusing him in at all. D-Shao gets off. He actually buys back for this. So does Rhyme. They look to fight this. They maybe want to go and break the base after this team fight here through the mid lane. Someone TPing in with Boots of Travel will cancel as Soul. Did he? Yeah, he committed suicide actually to heal his team, and then I think bought back Boots of Traveled in.
This was Rhyme's buyback as well. He's getting really low, still being chased by the Timbersaw as well as the Ricky, and he's going to go down for the second time, 100 seconds down, and now Theory trying to trade with the Ricky. He's actually going to do pretty well. Of course, Ricky, Benji there, Blink striking down to safety. Theory trying to change this with Shikuchi, but on the other hand, Soul trying to do some damage, but instead getting really low himself. He looks like he's going to go down in the end. He could have suicided there.
No, it was on cooldown.
Oh no, he didn't.
He used it at the start of the fight.
Yeah, that's right, and then, yeah, came back.
Alright, well, Union Gaming, I believe, just lost the Rasta, the Timbersaw, as well as the TA, and then Timbersaw was able to get back into the fight, so he actually died twice there. He did suicide the first one and then died again. It's not quite as bad as the dieback from Rhyme on the Invoker. Buyback by D-Chow as well, so they forced out 2 of them there. That is Union Gaming forcing out the buybacks. 38-32, Faded. The entire game they've had that kill advantage. But it doesn't really matter too much anymore, as this game is actually, wow, a lot later than I thought it was. We're at 51 minutes right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and still, you know, anyone's game, really. Taking a look at the net worth, I mean, look at that. It's almost, like, perfect in terms of an even game. You have the top 2 from both teams, the Weaver as well as Potom for the Radiant, and then the Ricky and the Timbersaw for the Dire, pretty much at this exact same net worth. Then you have the TA as well as the Invoker, the mid players. Then you have the Visage and Doom, and then you have the Abaddon and Shadow Tom, the hard 5s. It's like perfect. It's like this game could literally go either way, even right now.
Everyone's got their matchup there in the net worth, which is going to be pretty nice.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Well, nicer for Union Gaming, because I think Faded were dictating the early game here. And now they're on level footing, if maybe even slightly behind. And we actually do have a big item pickup. The MKB is finished up here by Corey, and now he's going to go with a Butterfly. So checking out Union Gaming, anyone working towards an MKB, not quite, but they are working towards a 4th Roshan that I think Faded knows about. Well, do they? Actually, no. They're in no position to defend this, and, well, it's already dead.
That's the thing. I mean, they've been so perfect with this. They, as soon as it's up, they know that they're there, and like they're not giving any time for the Radiant to respond. Even if they really wanted to, it's just done so fast because of the meld minus armor, as well as just the extra, like the slow from the Visage really helps do it really quickly without taking any damage. Really.
Well, and the heads up you mentioned earlier, they know as soon as it's up and they get there immediately, take it out before Faded even has time to think. Oh, is Roche up again? Like 8 or 11 minutes?
Exactly.
Who knows?
So good. Surprised that there's no AC up actually in the Dire. Looks like another Shiva's trying to be picked up there by the Visage, but yeah,
he might go. He might be going AC. I wouldn't say he has to be going AC.
He picked up a recipe, I think, a Shiva's recipe.
Did he?
Or yeah, I think it's on the card. Yeah, it is. He actually has his Shivas.
I don't understand.
Yeah. Oh well, 2 Shivas is still okay. But I think what could be a really big difference factor here is the fact that there are 2 MKBs up for the Radiant and no MKBs up for the Dire to deal with the Butterflies coming out from Faded. So the extra miss chance could actually be a pretty big factor in the DPS of both the Ricky as well as the TA.
Yeah, completely agree.
The big thing to note is hexes. So they only have 1 hex right now, actually, for the Rasta. But while you're hexed, you do not have the extra miss chance from Butterfly. You will take 100% of the attacks. So maybe they seek to try to burst people down with a Ricky as well as a TA from a hex from Hakutron, if that's how they decide to go.
Yeah, well, they've got MKBs anyways, but of course there is the Sheepstick there for Rhyme, so he can hex up as well, the Ricky or the TA, who does have the Butterfly. I've never seen 3 Butterflies in one game, I feel like. Seems like a lot.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. I mean, a lot of Agi semi-carries / carries, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I feel like it's a pretty situational item as terms as late game damage goes, but. Anyway, Citadel going to be scouted out here by Theory with the Desolator, the MKB, and the Butterfly right now. He hits like a truck. 367 damage coming out of him.
Yeah, probably gonna look for like a Daedalus or something as his next item, and then Boots of Travel, or the other way around maybe. He could also rebuy his BKB as it's only sitting on 4 seconds. But I
don't
think
know how
4
I feel
seconds
about-
is enough. Yeah, I wouldn't rebuy it in this game actually.
I was going to talk about Doom not going. I feel like you mentioned earlier when we saw the Arcane Boots, you're like always going to go for that classic Aura Doom, where you pick up the mech, then you go Vlad's, then you go AC. I feel like that maybe would have helped them even more in some of those earlier engagements. But I don't know. There is a lot of magic damage from the side of Union Gaming, though, coming out from the Timbersaw, the Aethershock, the Soul Assumptions. And how does Backstab work? It is actually going to be extra physical damage, so...
Yeah.
I don't know. He goes Shivas instead, which I feel like maybe Jabano kind of worked towards as he picked up the Midas, but I suppose he is sort of solo supporting here, so always
Dire's bottom
having to buy
tower
out the
is
sentries, the
under
wards,
attack.
has bought the
Arrow.
gem.
Oh man, that almost hit the TA there. If that hit TA, that would have been a really nice place to
Dire's
engage
bottom
for the
tower
Radiant.
has fallen.
I see some people in the chat comparing this game to Speed Gaming versus DK, so I guess that's a pretty good place to find yourself if you're on Faded or Union Gaming.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, DK, as this guy mentioned, what's his name in the chat? 4NKH. He talks about how every time DK won Roshan in order to kind of elongate some of these fights, and that's the exact same thing we see happening here for Sidral as well as the rest of his squad, Union Gaming. Just, you know, every single time. This arrow is going to hit TA, though. This could be disastrous for the Dire, and they're actually going to take out the Visage right away. Still stunned, just now coming right back off. The BKB is being popped by both Ricky as well as the TA, doing a lot of damage here.
Yeah, Theory on the backside also opened with his BKB, now forced to time-lapse out, getting back into the fight. Citadel very low, will go down. A meatball from the sky. D-Chow still alive, always seem to be trapped in those wards, but he lives through it. Now under the cloud, finally goes down. Rhyme, Diffusal Blade up here by Benjaz. He picks up a double kill on the Ricky. Corey forced to leap away. It's always Doom and Invoker, the two targets that Union Gaming are focusing. They let Theory sort of do whatever he wants, and it's Soul picking up a double kill. Union Gaming, they win the fight. Buybacks, there were none there. It's Union Gaming straight up winning that fight despite being initiated upon with a Visage who didn't even get to cast a spell.
Yeah, the nice part though is that pretty much everyone, with the exception of the Invoker, has buyback available for them on the Radiant side. So there's really no way in pressing the advantage. But there, we really saw kind of two big things. It looked like it was starting to be in favor of the Radiant, and it very well could have been because of the extra mischance. And of course, TA now dealing with that by picking up her MKB. So a really smart item pickup there by Sidral. But at the end of the day, the extra Aegis, having the second life there on the TA, difference maker, because she was just able to stay right in that fight and just do whatever she could. The extra damage as well just really helped out.
Were any of the cheese used there? It looks like I see none, so I would assume both or
Yeah.
the one that was maybe... I think there were two cheeses out. I think Benjaz as
Ricky
well
had one.
as Citadel maybe had one.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, they really are the difference makers, and they're coming out ahead in these fights, and it's really awesome to see this type of comeback. I mean, this is really rare in games of Dota to have this so even, so long into the game. I mean, it's an hour into the game pretty much, 41 to 36, so a pretty action-oriented game, and it's been a real blast to cast so far.
Gold is at equilibrium, 0 advantage. I mean, even at this point, gold graphs don't matter, but they really don't matter when it's at 0. And then XP, it was at one point an 11,000 advantage for Union Gaming, coming back again towards equilibrium. So this game closer than
game.
most when you get this late here as we approach 58 minutes. And you talked earlier, as you said, 4NKH, maybe Onk is his name if the 4 is an A. Shout out to shamans everywhere. As I forgot what I was saying. Oh, you mentioned Roche earlier, as how Union Gaming is on top of that. So was DK. I mean, they draft themselves up on the Dire here, so they do pick a lineup that maybe with some armor reduction from the meld. The backstab damage also very, very great for taking out Roche quickly. Could have been maybe something they were thinking on the draft, saying we're Dire, we can capitalize on early Roshans, and they did just that. They took the first one at what, was it 12 and a half or 15 and a half minutes?
Yeah, it was really early. It was something along those lines.
Definitely something you can do. So I saw DK doing that. It looked like they kept electing to be on the Dire, maybe even for that reason.
Yes. Yes, exactly. They really highly value positioning for Roshan. And I mean, it worked really well for them. They were really, really high up there. I think 7-1 out of the group stage.
Yeah.
And they really only lost their games, like, they lost weird games, and then they lost, like, in the finals, of course. But
Well, they lost. The only game they lost was to Speed.
I think they lost one game to Navi, right?
No.
The Divine game?
Nope. Oh, yeah. Wait. Yeah, because everything on day 2 is best of threes, but in the group stage,
Yeah.
yeah, they only lost to Speed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was a fun tournament for sure.
interesting, more aggression coming out of the Radiant. They really want to try to make something happen on the Dire side. Of course, there's no Aegis and Cheese this time either, which is going to be really important for them. But all 5 here, an arrow actually, whoa, that
close.
barely misses the Ricky. And wow, they're doing a lot of damage here.
Wow, Benjaz jumps outside of the base, throws down his illusions, which apparently get backstab damage on the D-Chow. D-Chow always the target, and they do bring him down. Citadel on the TA gets him. Benjaz getting pretty low, gonna maybe want to retreat out of that. Yep, here comes Timbersaw though to run some interference. Citadel actually gonna be caught out on the front lines, will go down, drops the gem. Jabano now, borrow time, back to full HP. Benjaz though, gonna jump right on him, and he takes him out on the side of the battle. The gem is back on the deck, and they lose 2. They lose 3 over there. Weaver actually buys back, thought about maybe time-lapsing into the fight, and doesn't. So that's kind of a wasted buyback there on the Weaver. Or at least it was already forced out as Union Gaming looks to maybe push the mid lane. They had a buyback of their own, actually. It was Citadel buying back for them. Corey sheeped up, though, here by Soul on the Timbersaw. He's played so nicely. And yeah, you can attack and shock him, but you can just run at him and then pull it back for the kill. And they force out a buyback here on the Doom. His second, third buyback of the game. Theory's bought back 2 or 3 times. Invoker's bought back a couple times. He had a dieback even on Rhyme. So Union Gaming's been forcing it out, and that doesn't really go into the gold graph. So we said it was even though it doesn't really matter all that much anymore. But it's Union Gaming leading, and you can add maybe another couple thousand to that because of these buybacks.
Yeah, and they're going to go on to take the mid Raxes here.
No Glyph of Fortification for some reason.
Yeah, Soul been playing out of his mind, though, on that Timbersaw. He's playing so well, picking up the AC as well, so they do have the extra armor there. But they're going to have to be forced back a little bit. And actually, BKB needs to be popped by the TA. Is he going to actually end up going down? Yes, he is. 123 seconds on deck.
Wow. Talk about, well, that's sort of not quite a dieback, but he does buy back. And then he does die, so of course going to have that added time to his next respawn, and dead for almost 2 minutes. They get the mid-racks, which is nice, but it's not going to be so nice if Faded, who just forced out all these buybacks, can then turn around and capitalize on taking a mid-racks of their own. And then once again, this, whoa, Hakutron going to take a bugs. Oh, not this again. He's got the Weaver Geminite attack bug on the Shadow Shaman. Do you see that, or is it just me?
Yeah, I saw it before. My sound actually died a little bit earlier. I don't know if you caught on to that, but
I did not.
But it's back now. And
Radiant,
yeah,
take that Roche.
TA on the sideline for a very long time. Soul doing work here, just trying to put a lot of pressure up onto the top lane, as well as the Visage Familiars. It's going to go down quite quickly, but I mean, they should know something's up in the fact that TA's still waiting. Although this is kind of the correct way to play now in this version. Rather than buying back instantly as soon as you die, you should try to wait as long as possible. Sorry?
TA cannot buy back.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I thought you were saying... Never mind.
The Aphotic Shield, though, gonna get rid of the Shackle there by the Rasta. But, yeah, like, I was just kind of talking about how Theory, as soon as he died before, bought back instantly, which might not need to be the best thing to do now. In the current patch because of the way the extra time works. Yeah,
well, I think he wanted to time lapse back into the fight, but then like he bought back and they quickly lost the fight, and then he was like, okay, well, I'm not going to time lapse into that, and now I've bought back, and yeah, I think it was a bit of a mistake there.
Maybe, but the Forward Spirit's actually doing quite a bit of work. They're going to get the tower, and now they're going to try to maybe start a fight here.
There's a pretty big shocker. I'm starting out on 2-3 people there. Benjaz is going to Manta, force out the BKB as well. The illusions go to town. They're getting Rhyme down pretty low. Doom gets thrown out. It's going to be onto Soul, of course, but he won't die. He's just going to be kind of bothered for 10 seconds and then to get back into this fight. But they've got Theory and Rhyme already so low. The tier 3 tower has dropped. D-Chow going to get slowed up. Is there an Atos on the field? No, that was a defusal charge. They turn around, though. They will get Soul, who's only going to be dead for 20 seconds. He's got a buyback as well, but probably won't even have to use it. It looks like they've got Haku. Theory goes into the base deep, healed up once again. PMJ going to try to bring him down with auto attacks, won't be able to. Benjaz, though, come in. D-Chow throwing up the cheese, the third cheese of the game, by the way. Benjaz goes down. Corey with a double kill, fighting here at the base of the tier 3 towers. Union Gaming, they've got some buybacks on the Visage, who's still alive, so actually they really don't have many remaining. Timbersaw respawns now. Was only 20 seconds. The racks go down in the mid lane, so we're all squared up. They actually get the ranged racks as well, so they've got one more rack. They're going to go straight on to the tier 4s. Ricky is dead, has no buyback. It's going to be, I think this is the game right here. Faded is going to win it after all of this. That Shiva's getting blown up in her face. Another one thrown out by Doom. Ice everywhere. And who's going to win the fight after that? Citadel being forced back. Nice Deafening Blast, going to disarm as well. They get him. And that's TA down again. Buyback still on cooldown for another minute. Doesn't have the money either. The tier 4 drops. Soul stunned up with an arrow. Shoot arrow, hit arrow. He buys back now he's down to 8 bloodstone charges. What a number to end the game on, as Faded looks to, well, maybe being driven back. No, Corey and Dechow going to town on the throne, and what a game.
What a good game. Wow, incredible game. So even for so long, 65 minutes in. Just, you know, top caliber Dota, coming out of both the Peruvians as well as the North American squad in Faded, and just crazy. The high five strat paying off in the end in game 1 in favor of Faded. And stay tuned, guys. Game 2, hopefully coming up soon.
Yeah, I like that you call it the high five strat, because it's definitely the best possible name for it ever.
Yeah. Just a quick note to our Spanish fans as well. Gracias por ver. Eso fue el primer juego y el segundo juego va a seguir en unos minutos.
What he said. You know, we're casting, and it's CEVO, so of course there was a Dota update. My client's out of date. I don't know if yours is as well.
Not yet. Hopefully it stays this way.
Well, I tried to host a
sorry,
lobby
my
and it
Spanish
yelled
is
at me.
really rusty.
It's
I need
better
to work
than
on my
mine.
Spanish. Yeah, but I have no excuse because I'm kind of half Spanish.
Well, there you go. No excuses. All right, yeah, we'll be bringing you another game here, guys, pretty soon. I'm just going to host up the lobby. And once again, thank you, everyone, for checking it out. So that is the stream here at twitch.tv/playcevo1. I would imagine a lot of you here are for Union Gaming. So big shout out to you guys. Make sure to follow here on the Twitch channel. Will help us get the partnership. I saw some of you asking about, you know, the resolution options. We don't have that available to us yet. We need a couple more followers before we can get that set up for you. So that would help us out immensely. And even below, you guys are allowed, of course, to sign up for the Battlefield 4 and/or Call of Duty Ghost tournaments for the $500 winner take all. I guess beta cups is what we're calling them. Sort of an interesting name. But yeah, make sure to get that done. I think our Battlefield 4 league is actually the only competitive Battlefield 4 setup in North America, which is nice. But I'm going to throw it over to some music now, so sit tight, guys, and we'll be